Good morning all. Today I would like to explain you further continuation to that balancing chemical equations. So after balancing chemical equations, after we balanced the chemical equation, then we got a balanced equation. So from that again we need more information. So the substances which we are taking may be solids, liquids or gases. So that is physical state of the substances, reactants and products physical state. So we need to know that physical state of the reactants and products also. So for that purpose children, I am taking this now. So first is physical state, we need to know the reactants and products physical state children here. And coming to the heat changes, we should know and we have to know about exothermic or endothermic changes. That may be endothermic reaction or may be exothermic reaction. Heat may liberated, heat may absorbed. So for that we need to know this information also. I think you got some idea. Before also we have discussed about this endothermic and exothermic in the activity 1 and 2, 3. And coming to the third one, gas evolved if any. Gas evolved if any. So that how can we mention and how can we denote that we need to know. And coming to the precipitate, this also I have explained in the previous activities. Precipitate formed or not. So how can we denote that precipitate? So that we are going to see in this explanation. And coming to the first one, expressing the physical state. And we have different states of substances. Those are gas, liquid and solid states. So for that denotation, for denoting gases as subscription we will take G. And coming to the liquids we will take L, small l. And coming to the solids we will take S. So like that we can denote. So if the substance is present as a solution in water, the word aqueous, this also I have explained children in the previous class, aqueous solutions. For AQ denotation we will use here. For aqueous solutions AQ we will use like this, AQ. So this is the, and delta indicates heat here, heating. It represents heating children. So delta we will use for heating. Now I am taking this example. So here we are taking example children. Iron oxide reacts with aluminium. These two are solid substances. So that's why we are taking here solid as subscription. And delta indicates heating. On heating iron oxide and aluminium, we will get iron separately, 2 atoms of iron separately, then aluminium oxide we got. So like this, all are solid substances, that's why all are having S as subscription. So this is one example children. And the second one is expressing the heat changes. Some equations will liberate heat energy and some reactions will absorb heat energy. So for example, here carbon reacts with oxygen. Heating of carbon, in the presence of oxygen we will get carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide gas will release and some heat energy will also produce at that time, at that reaction. So that's why this is exothermic reaction. So for that denotation we will take plus Q. Here plus Q indicates the heat energy liberation or heat energy releasing. And coming to the minus Q, nitrogen reacts with oxygen will gives nitrogen oxide and some heat energy will absorb at this time of reaction. So here minus Q is the absorbed heat energy. This is the denotation for exothermic and endothermic reactions children. I think you got clear only. It is very easy to understand, no need to worry about this. And coming to the next third one, expressing precipitate formed or not and gas evolved or not. So for precipitate, downward arrow we will take. If any precipitate, in the case of activity 2 we got that barium chloride precipitate, barium sulfate. So barium sulfate precipitate, we got it, white color precipitate. So in the type of reactions like that, we got precipitate. So at that time we will take down arrow mark to indicate those. And coming to the gas evolved or not, in some cases hydrogen gas evolved, the zinc granules reacts with HCl, will get hydrogen gas releasing. So evolved hydrogen gas. So in the case of third activity, we observed that. So like that we got some gases evolved in the reactions. So at that time we will take upward arrow for that denotion of gas evolving. So like this we got information for physical state and endothermic and exothermic reaction, gas evolution and precipitate formed or not. Like this we have denotions and we have explanation. I think you got this all. And sometimes we will use, in the case of photosynthesis, sunlight and chlorophyll from the leaves we are using. So at that time we should mention here, or else heating also, delta, the delta mark we will denote, we will use for that denotion of heating. And here we are writing sunlight. Like this we are more informatively we can write chemical equations like this by using these all explanations and these all things. So coming to the interpreting a balanced chemical equation. So in that we already learnt about how to balance chemical equations and how can we able to write more informative those by mentioning solid, liquid, gas, aqueous solution, gas evolution, or else precipitate formation with down and up arrow marks, like that. So for precipitate we will use down arrow mark, and for gas evolution we will use upward arrow mark, and plus Q for heat releasing and minus Q for heat absorption. Like that we are able to write now more informatively and balanced chemical equations. And coming to the interpreting a balanced equation, so in this concept, first a chemical reaction gives symbols of formula of reactants and products that we know. Correct symbols of and formulas for the reactants and products a chemical reaction will gives. So that we got. No need to worry about that. And also chemical reaction gives the ratio of molecules of reactants and products. Basic proportionality theorem. Mass and proportional ratios. So the chemical reaction gives formulas and symbols and also will gives ratio of molecules of individual reactants and products. Ratio also it will give. Same ratio left hand side and right hand side, that we know. And coming to the next point, molecular masses are expressed. So individual reactants and products have some molecular masses. So here we will take mass relationship is suitable for that explanation. Masses are expressed in grams, mass relationship we will take. And coming to the second B part, if the gases are evolved, we can equate their masses to their volumes. Their masses to their volumes. This is with the help of mass volume relationship we can understand. Mass volume relationship. So here we will compare or we will equate their masses to their volumes. So that is mass volume relationship. And then the next step here they given, the liquids and gases involved, then volume relationship we will consider. So gases and liquids both are having volume, that's why volume relationship we will consider at that time and compare both sides and equate. And using molar mass and Avogadro's number, we can calculate that number of molecules are there, how many number of molecules and atom relative to the different substances. Individually how many molecules of atom are there, that we can find by using mass, volume, number of molecules. Mass here we are considering, volume we will consider, and also number of molecules we will compare and consider. Then we can equate. Like that we can find the information, more and more information to interpreting the balanced chemical equations like this also we can understand. So like this we will understand. And coming to the our examples, we have some examples here to understand this interpretation of balanced chemical equations. To understand this we need to learn some examples. So for that explanation, first I want to give some basic information from previous class to you. Here we are taking mass, molar mass. I think in the atomic structure only I have explained you all, but now I want to discuss with you some more again. So no need to worry for discussion again. For leaving we will think, for discussion we don't want to think. So here atomic mass versus mass number. So we are learning from previous classes onwards atomic mass and mass number. Atomic number also we know. Here what is the difference between atomic mass and mass number? Are those same or not? Yes, are those are same for all, because atomic mass is number of protons and neutrons. Combinedly sum of protons and neutrons we are taking as atomic mass, and mass number also. But in the case of some isotopes, the atomic mass will be taken as average from those isotopes, relative isotopes, average we will take at that time. So that's why atomic mass will change for some type of isotopes. For all elements, mass number is equals to atomic mass. So I think you got some idea on this. Atomic mass is the weighted average mass of an atom, of an element, based on the relative natural abundance of that element's isotopes we will consider. In the case of atomic mass, for individual atoms isotopes we will take. So same number of protons and different number of neutrons we will consider here. So those type of isotopes we will consider for atomic mass. For mass number always we will take that number of protons and neutrons, sum we will take in the case of mass number. So like that we will understand. And coming to the protons and neutrons, both weigh about 1 atomic mass unit or AMU will take. Isotopes of the same element will have the same atomic number but different mass number. Those are called isotopes. Example here, how we are defining the atomic mass of chlorine. So here we are taking how relative isotopes we will consider. Yes, why we need to consider, you got some doubts I think. So for example, if we take chlorine, so in the case of chlorine it is an isotope. So and the mass number 35 and 37, like these two types of isotopes we have for chlorine. In this 75% is with mass number 35 and 25% is with 37 mass number we got in the earth atmosphere. So here I will consider atomic weight. So atomic weight is equals to 35%. We will take 35 atom with 35 mass number we have 75%. So 75 by 100 plus 37 with 37 mass number we have 25%. So the average we will take as here atomic weight 35.5 AMU or U. Atomic mass unit or unit we will take directly as atomic weight here, or atomic mass we will take like that. So I think you got up to here clear. And atomic mass, molar mass, this also we have. Molar mass, Avogadro number of molecules and atoms. So this also you need to understand what is the difference between molar mass and atomic mass. Coming to the molar mass, is the mass of 1 mole atoms. Mass of 1 mole atoms are molecular and is given in grams. Molecules and is given in grams. 1 mole is equal to Avogadro number, Na. This one is called as Na. That means 1 mole is equals to 6.022 into 10 to the power of 23 atoms or molecules we will take. So 1 mole is the basic unit here we will take for measurement, and 1 mole is equals to 6.022 into 10 to the power of 23 atoms. Why we are considering like this atomic mass? Atomic mass is the mass of an atom given in AMU. For coming to the atomic mass, we need to consider neutrons and protons. We know mass of proton, mass of neutron and mass of electron. So mass of proton is here 9.11 into 10 to the power of minus 31 kg, minus 31. So it is negligible almost, or else 0.00054 AMU or 0.55 milligrams, like that. It is very small comparing to the weights, all weights we are having in the atmosphere. This is negligible. And coming to the mass number of neutron, 1.676 into 10 to the power of minus 27. So like that. Here proton and neutron both are having mass number same. And coming to the electron, 9.11 into 10 to the power of minus 31 kg here. So mass of electron is this one, children. Mass of electron 9.11 into 10 to the power of minus 31. Here mass of proton and mass of neutron both are same only, 1.676 into 10 to the power of minus 27 kg or 1.676 into 10 to the power of minus 24 grams. So 1.00867 AMU. So it is almost negligible. For coming to the atomic mass, we will consider these nucleus inside mass. So it is almost negligible. So that's why here we will take atomic mass as number of particles. So number of atoms or molecules we will consider. That's why here we need to consider this Avogadro number and mole value. For easy denotion and for easy measurement, we will take Avogadro number. So and here these are the number of particles, or else atoms, molecules. So for this purpose we need to consider. So 1 mole is equal to the 6.022 into 10 to the power of 23 atoms or molecules. This is the explanation I want to give you from the previous class. And coming to the example 1, we will take here. Example 1. In the textbook they has given, children. And for this purpose I want to show you one thing from the 9th class textbook. I think you remembered or not, this one we have. So here hydrogen atomic mass 1, aluminium 27, carbon 12. Here all are hydrogen 1 only atomic mass. And coming to the carbon, number of protons and number of neutrons. So that one is 12. And coming to the nitrogen, 7 number of protons and 7 number of neutrons. Commonly atomic mass is 14. For oxygen it is 16. For sodium 23. For magnesium 24. Aluminium 27. Phosphorus 31. Sulfur 32 units. Chlorine 35.5. Previous only I explained, children, this. And potassium 39. Calcium 40. So we need to use this also. That's why I am showing you this one. Here first example we will consider, children. So in this first example, aluminium is a solid and iron oxide. We will take these reactants both, and the reaction will taking place. Aluminium oxide will produce and iron will also produce as product. And here we need to consider atomic masses of all. So for that atomic numbers we are taking. So all. Here aluminium atomic number 27. From the previous I shown you now only. And atomic number 26 for iron. Atomic number 26 and atomic mass here 56. So 56 units. And for aluminium atomic mass 27. 13 plus 14, 27. So here atomic number 13 and number of neutrons 14, total 27 is the atomic mass. So aluminium 27 atomic mass, 27 units, and coming to the iron 56 units, oxygen we know 8 plus 8, 16 units. So like that we have. So why we got here for iron 56, iron atomic number 26 that you know, and 30 is the number of neutrons. Why? Iron is having different substances, different types of substances like isotopes, hemoglobin, iron binding, and cytochrome. These are the distinctions from that. And likewise we got iron has atomic mass 56. So here we are taking aluminium reaction. First we need to balance that one. This is the skeleton equation. As per our previous explanation, this is the skeleton equation. Now I would like to balance this one. Here we have two irons. Here we have only one. So that's why I am adding I am substituting that coefficient here 2. I am adding 2 here. So that's why 2 iron we will get. So now check the balance. And here aluminium also 2 we have right hand side. So we need to take coefficient here 2. Now it has balanced. Next here 2 into 27, aluminium mass atomic mass 27. So 2 into 27, here we have 2 atoms. So 2 into 27. And coming to the iron, 2 into iron 56 we know, and here plus 3 into oxygen atomic mass 16 units gives rise to 2 into aluminium 2 into aluminium atomic mass 27, 2 into 27 plus 3 into 16 for oxygen, plus 2 into iron 56 units. So then 2 into 27 54 unit plus 2 into 56 112 plus 48, total 160 units gives here 2 into 27 54 plus 48 will get 102 units plus 56 2s are 112 units. So that means here 2 moles, 2 aluminiums, that's why 2 moles, 1 ferrous oxide. So we will get 1 mole only. Aluminium oxide 1 mole only, and 2 iron 2 moles, like that. Or else in grams also we can write 54 grams, 160 grams, 102 grams, 112 grams. So for this also we have children that molar. In the 9th class textbook we have one explanation about this mole concept. So that's I want to show you now. Yes, these children you have this mole concept. From the previous class onwards I am explaining structure of atom also. I told that about mole. So mole is the unit we are taking here. So molar mass of water, like that we are taking from the previous class onwards. So 1 mole of substance which is expressed in grams is called molar mass, and 1 mole is equals to 1 gram of hydrogen atom and 6.022 into 10 to the power of 23 atoms of hydrogen. 23 atoms of hydrogen for 1 gram of hydrogen. Likewise 16 grams of oxygen atom is equals to 6.022 into 10 to the power of 23 atoms of oxygen. Likewise you understand children for all. So now like that only, here mole I substituted here. So like that we can convert that to grams also. So from these children take the ratio we are considering here, ratio proportions. So from the concept, from the mathematics, here I am explaining example 1 children. So here we need to calculate. Up to here we got 54 grams of aluminium is needed to get 112 grams of iron. But we need to calculate. Here we suppose that you are asked to calculate the amount of aluminium required to get 1120 kg of iron by the above equation. So for that here we will explain like this. Aluminium and iron comparison, 54 grams, 112 grams, and x kg we will assume for 1120 kg. So I am converting this to grams. We will get here multiplication of 1000. So here we need to consider ratio and proportions from the mathematics concept, product of means and product of extremes. From the time explaining you children, x grams is equals to, here we will get like this. So here 54 is to x is equals to 112 is to 1120 into 1000. So here we are taking product of means and product of extremes, like that we will get here. So 112 kg, here I am transposing that 112 to right hand side, we will get like this. Finally we got 5,40,000 grams or 540 kg. So that's why to get 1120 kg of iron, we have to use 540 kg of aluminium. So I think you got the idea on these ratios. So this is the example to understand that concept. So next example we will consider children. Thank you. We will see further.